This message comes from Amazon Pharmacy. When you're on hold with the pharmacy and you hear, your call is very important, after the 10th loop, you start to doubt that. Amazon Pharmacy delivers meds to you fast without the hold music. Amazon. Healthcare just got less painful.
Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. In Lisa Smith's debut novel, Jamaica Road, there's a character who was originally just supposed to pop in, be a jerk, and then exit the narrative forever. But the thing about writing fiction is that the characters also have a say in what they do. And so this one in particular happened to stick around. Author Lisa Smith spoke to Here and Now's Deborah Becker about this process of discovering things about the people she's writing about and learning to stop resisting what they're telling her. That's ahead.
This message comes from Amazon. Have you ever gotten sick on a very expensive, very non-refundable family trip? Amazon One Medical has 24/7 virtual care, so you can get help no matter where you are. And with Amazon Pharmacy, your meds can get delivered right to your hotel fast. It's kind of like the room service of medical care. Thanks to Amazon, healthcare just got less painful.
A coming-of-age novel and a love story set among the racial tensions in London in the 1980s. All of this and more is in Lisa Smith's debut novel, Jamaica Road. The book centers on Daphne, who is 12 years old when we meet her and her best friend Connie, and we follow them for a tumultuous 12 years as they wrestle with identity, love as well as hate, and some historical events in Britain that resonate today. Again, the book is Jamaica Road, and Lisa Smith joins me now to talk about it. Welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me on.
Well, let's talk about your debut novel. Daphne, our center character here, is born in London to a Jamaican family, and I wondered, is this partly your story too?
Well, like most writers, you kind of start from what you know. During a creative writing workshop, of all things, the course coordinator asked the class to think of an outsider. And this image of a boy that had arrived at my primary school, so I was about 8, just fell into my head. And, where I went to school was very similar to the place I write about in Jamaica Road. It was a very, very working class, predominantly white area. And I was the only black girl in the class. And I just remember this boy just turning up out of nowhere, and he was very tall, and he wore the wrong kind of clothes, kind of shabby, and he spoke with a really strong Jamaican accent, which was extraordinary to me at the time because I'm British Jamaican, so I was born in the UK, but I'd only ever heard grown-ups speak with a Jamaican accent. So, but the fact this boy fell into my head during this creative writing class, I just thought, well, I'm just going to go with it.
Right.
And almost immediately, the voice of Daphne was worming its way into my ear, so that's what I wrote. But quite soon, of course, characters take on a life of their own, and so then it moves away from being autobiographical.
Yeah. And Daphne was an outsider too, right?
Well, that's the thing. Yes, you start off with the idea of thinking that it's Connie who's the outsider. Connie is the migrant. But as, a British Jamaican, certainly in the 80s, there was a sense, I remember, of being British, but never quite being British enough. So, yeah, I think for Daphne, what comes through, hopefully, is the fact that she's looking for belonging just as much as Connie is.
Yeah. So Daphne meets Connie when Connie moves to London and is staying with his mom. And she's actually assigned to help him assimilate because the teacher says, well, you're both from Jamaica, so maybe you can help each other. And at first, Daphne wants no part of this, right? Because her survival mode really has been to keep her head down, right? And not draw attention to her race. And like you, she was the only black student at her school. She's been subjected to racism. And some of the taunts directed at her and then at Connie, they sound as if those could still be very prevalent today, unfortunately. And yet you set this story in the 1980s. Why was that the time period to bring Daphne and Connie to life?
The era chose me. As I say, the idea came from a memory from my past. But I was aware while I was writing about the fact that a lot of what is happening now was happening then. politicians are kind of leaning into anti-migrant sentiments.
In the book, too, Daphne learns that Connie is undocumented, right? Which is another thing, and all the fears surrounding being undocumented and what that means, which also resonates a lot today.
Yeah, that has actually got, it's the same, it's also got worse. They are just demonized now in a way that in the past it was a case of, well, they're here, they shouldn't be here, they're breaking the law. But now it's just, the attitude is very much like they are leeching off of society and that they give nothing back, and they're doubly demonized, I think.
The way you use language, that's a huge part of the storytelling here. You're splicing in some Jamaican accent, local South London accent, the Queen's English, as you call it, right? Sometimes all from one character, right? And all within this tight-knit Jamaican community in London. So I would love it if you could articulate, what are you trying to portray in the story about the immigrant experience through this type of dialogue?
Lots of things. I think certainly when I was growing up in Southeast London, when I went to school, I was kind of initially known as the posh kid because I was taught to speak the way my mum was taught to speak, in a very kind of precise sort of English, standard English, they call it, rather than Jamaican English. My mum wasn't allowed to speak Jamaican patois anywhere near the school. No, that was for backyards and verandas. You don't speak like that. In this school, you speak proper English, and that's how you get ahead. So that's what my mum taught us. And then when I went to school, I realised actually that sounded a bit posh and I was standing out a bit more. So I quickly learned, to drop my H's and to say indoors rather than at home, and refer to lunch as dinner and dinner as tea. You kind of just completely kind of think, I need to not be the posh black girl because I'm already the black girl. Interestingly enough, when my mum got together with other Jamaicans, her accent was stronger. She just lapsed back into it. It just felt like they were being themselves. Their voices went stiff, and I really liked that, and I wanted to convey that in the novel. The way that, yes, they're code switching, but actually when they're together, I just really, really enjoyed writing the dialogue, the patois, because that's how I heard it. And to write those characters with in any other way, in standard English, just would not work. They just wouldn't come alive to me.
Right. And there's a lot of complexity there, not just in language, but, of course, we're talking about a young girl becoming a young woman and dealing with all kinds of things with identity and sexuality as well. And at one point, she really wrestles with being attracted to a white boy, a boy who's part of a group that racially harasses others. So why was this part of Daphne's story?
Mark Barrett was supposed to just turn up, say a few racist things, then disappear from the novel. But for some reason, I kept writing more and more scenes with him. He just lingered, he just wouldn't go away. And, one of my tutors said that if you sit with a character long enough, they do start doing things that you necessarily weren't expecting. And so, the encounter in the first chapter with Daphne and Mark was very surprising to me. But I showed it to my friends and they were also surprised, but they were also intrigued. They were like, just keep going with it. But the first thing they did say was, you don't do that unless you like somebody. And I was like horrified, thinking, my God, does Daphne like Mark? How could she like Mark? That's insane. But once I started writing and getting into it, I then started thinking about my own past. I keep saying it's not autobiographical, and it isn't autobiographical in that sense at all. I certainly haven't done anything quite like that in a swimming pool. But I did think about growing up in a South London council estate where there was a mix of people. There were black people, there were white people. We went to schools, big comprehensive schools, where there was a mix of black people, white people, and the kids were mixing. We were mixing. And there was, to some extent, young white people who came from fairly tough racist families who didn't quite believe what their parents were telling them because they were seeing something different at school. And so, therefore, didn't really buy it.
Yeah. In the book, Connie's mother, Althea, has a saying that you repeat several times in the book in different
Yeah.
circumstances. Can you tell us about that, what it is, what it means?
We run things, things no run we. Basically, it just means that we control our fate. You know, we can change things, but we have to believe that we can.
Right, because you're talking about people who really are in a powerless position, right?
Exactly, yeah. And so sometimes it kind of rings hollow. But what it does for Daphne is that it does galvanize her into action, to seize life. I mean, that's the thing about Daphne. At the start of the novel, she's there, she's hiding, she's keeping her head down, she's just gritting her teeth and ploughing her way through. But the thing that Connie does is he disrupts all that, and he actually makes her bolder.
Well, Lisa Smith's debut novel is Jamaica Road. Lisa, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
This message comes from Amazon One Medical. Ever gotten sick on vacation? Amazon One Medical has 24/7 virtual care, so you can get help no matter where you are. It's kind of like the room service of medical care. Thanks to Amazon, healthcare just got less painful. Support for NPR and the following message come from IXL Learning. IXL Learning uses advanced algorithms to give the right help to each kid no matter the age or personality. Get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when you sign up today at IXL.com/NPR. This message comes from Homes.com. When you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Homes.com has got you covered with a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Homes.com. We've done your homework.